Greetings, technology enthusiasts. I am Chandrahas and I am delighted to be here with you representing CyberBrainer. Do you not believe that the technology sector is advancing at an unprecedented rate, making this an opportune moment to acquire the skills that will facilitate your progress? With CyberBrainer, we are empowering you to take control of your own future. At CyberBrainer, we do not merely impart your interests. We assert that information is power, yet it is the application of knowledge that distinguishes you. Our courses are meant to equip you with essential skills, whether you are pursuing data science, understanding artificial intelligence, or delving into cybersecurity. Let us commence the session and seize the future today. Thank you.
I think what we have done is we created the connector using this core connector worker. We enabled the services. I did enabled all, but we will not do that. We will only enable the one which we want. How we will define that is based on the requirement. After that we configure the attributes, then we configure the maps, and if the field doesn't meet our requirement and we need some extra fields, then we create a custom integration service, field override service, add the name of those two fields, and then we configure the field override. And in short, when you come to this integration, whatever the configurations are there, starting with configure, you have to kind of do all of that. Right? And then you have integration population eligibility. This is something. Filter external fields. I don't think this is not relevant. And then last time we discussed about the integration notification, which is this one, used for sending the email notification to any particular email which you will configure, and then you can also set up the subject and the message. Right? One thing which we haven't seen here is the sequence generator. Sequence generator is something. If, say, you want the output file to be generated with a date timestamp appended to the name. For example, I want the file name to be output underscore file underscore YYY MNDH MMN, all that. Right? That kind of stuff. Also a sequence number that if it integration runs first time, it will be underscore 1, then second time underscore 2, then you run it third time. Every time it will increment by 1. We do this to configure integration sequence generator. Write sequence ID generated by increment. It is always 1. Then comes the sequence ID format. What you want, the name of the file. I want output underscore file underscore. If you just hover on the sequence ID format, it will give you the way the second line shows an example. Right? Example says file and then the square bracket. You have the sequence SEQ, which will give you the sequence number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then everything is in square and you can write Y, Yman, D, and all that stuff. Let's see that. I want to underscore then square bracket sequence then. Square bracket underscore UI. Then dot extremely. This is my name. As soon as I click out work, they will generate the name and show me how it will look like. Right. This is that sequence generator. The best way is just over on this and it will give you an example and what all. Abbreviation you have for different parameters, date, month, years. That too in different formats. and done and done. Now this integration configuration is done. To launch this integration again, you can launch it, but say if you want to deliver it, then how you do that is you create the business process again as we did in our last session. And you do it only once. You do create copy, click on. Just leave this stuff. By default, just initiate these fire. Since it is outbound, first will be this fire. And then if you want to deliver the document, then you do C. Choose service and then the delivery. And click on. Then you will have to configure. And this is again the same stuff. I will not be configuring it. I will just delete it. Why it is showing an error? Because there is a business process and it has this configure delivery, but it is not configured. That's why. I will go here. And delete it. Now this error will go. Now we see a run. Let's say launch and take on. Now you see there are launch parameters. As of entry moment, effective date last successful. This one. First we will see about these 4, but then you see first the other 3. This is the option which is full file. If I select this one, right. If I check this work, they will ignore whatever you enter here, right. Whatever date you give doesn't matter. If you have checked the full file, what it will do is, as of today, as of you're running this integration, all the employees which are there in the tenant will be eligible. Right. As per the eligibility criteria, whatever you have set up, it will not check the date when that transaction happened and all that. It will just generate a full file. Let me click on and see. Let's run this part. It will take time. That is perfect. We can go ahead and do other stuff till then. Again, related action, integration and launch. We were discussing this event is running. Let's see how much time it will take for them because it's a full file. Generally takes time. That was this full file. Other stuff is restricted. Restrict results by org. We saw right in Workday, you have different supervisory orgs, which is nothing but a kind of a structure, a hierarchical structure. You can specify a particular organization. Only the employees which are part of those orgs will be eligible for this integration. Right. And that's normally we do for testing. The other stuff is this part of worker. You're running it. You have done a new hire. And then if you're running this integration again, integration will pick everything. And you want to run your integration quick. Just in a few seconds it should run. You just specify here the worker. The basic funda is when you run this integration, the whole tenant data, it will be a big analyze. Say there are 10,000 employees in the tenant. Now what it will do is it will first run the eligibility criteria. What do you have set up as part of that true false? It will filter out those employees, right? Because that will be its scope. Then it will check the transaction log. What transactions are enabled? Then it will do all that. right? That's why it takes time, right? But when you specify this worker as 1, 2, 3, like 3 workers or 4 workers, it runs quickly. Because for this now, the only scope is this one. Right? That's what this is for. Now comes, let me do a screenshot here and then go to the paint. As of entry moment, effective date, last successful as of entry moment. These 4 things you have to remember. You should know it by heart because it's a very common interview question that when you run a core connector worker, what are the launch parameters? As of entry moment, and they work in pairs. Right? This is one pair and this is one pair. Now what is effective date? And this is again a PeopleSoft concept. Effective date is when that change is effective. For example, as of entry moment is when that change was entered into the system. Right. I'll give you a very common example and then you will get to know. Right. Say if somebody is promoted. Right. Now promoted this. The time that decision was made. Let's promote him and all that. Today is what? 20th April. We did a promotion in the system, meaning HR. I went to that employee's profile and I changed his designation from senior consultant to a manager, right? We did the updates in the system. Right? And then we said 1st of May is the effective date. That means what? That on 25th April, we entered the system. Entered into the system, meaning the date. The entry moment. Entry moment was 25th of April. And we are saying that that new designation will be effective from 1st of May. That is the effective date. You guys got the difference. The understanding. What is as of entry moment? What is effective date? Click this integration. Integration also completed. And what it generated? It generated nothing. Nothing. Where is the file? No. Nothing got generated. These are all zip files, which you can kind of, and you will do the activity. You will get to know this date concept is right and how we give the dates. Let's see that. As of entry moment, when you are running this integration at any moment, when you are running this integration as of entry moment, as you see here, Workday has already defaulted it. It will be today's date and time right now. Whatever is the date and time, that will be the as of entry moment, meaning whatever data has been entered into the system till now is what this integration will look for. Then effective date. Effective date is today's date, meaning anything which is effective on or before today's date is eligible. When I say eligible, meaning eligible to come in the file. If you run this integration, you stay the employees applied today, but he is effective. In the future, will that employee be picked up? The answer is no. Why he will not pick up? Because his effective date is after today's. That's why the future effective dates, future effective changes, will not be picked up by the core connector worker. And then last successful entry moment and last successful effective date. This is something which you give based on the last one. If you say your last one happened last week, you will give that date, today's 4th, and this is waiting. Here as well, you will give it, and then you will run it. That means anything which has happened between these two dates and is effective on or before this will be eligible to come in the fight. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.